To ban or not to ban, Taiwan and Japan talk Fukushima food imports as the two sides look to strengthen ties in the new year. Another COVID Christmas. We look at how countries around the world are battling the latest surge while trying to celebrate the holiday season. Taking down the goddess of democracy, more symbols of freedom in Hong Kong fall across universities.
Baby Jesus holding a COVID vaccine? I'm Sandy Chi, and I'll be showing you how one church in Taipei is delivering a dose of Christmas cheer with a nativity scene inside a massive syringe.
A warm welcome to TaiwanPlus News. I'm Betty Chen. We start with some of the latest on Japan's participation in the Beijing Olympics. Tokyo has now confirmed it will not send a government delegation to next year's Winter Games. The United States, Britain, Australia, and Canada have this month already announced boycotts over human rights abuses by China, including against the Muslim Uyghur minority in Xinjiang. Japan's chief cabinet secretary urged China to respect human rights, but stopped short of calling the move a boycott.
北京冬季大会への日本政府の対応については、これらの点をも総合的に勘案して自ら判断を行ったものであります。また日本政府として日本からの出席の在り方について特定の名称を用いることは考えていません。
Members of Taiwan and Japan's ruling parties met on Friday, looking to strengthen ties. High on the agenda was imports from Fukushima, the site of Japan's largest ever nuclear disaster. As Rick Claus reports, Fukushima food imports have become the latest political hot-button issue.
In a country obsessed with eating, these food products have become the latest political hot potato in Taiwan. For 10 years, Fukushima food imports have been banned. And now, despite opposition over food safety concerns, the government looks set to relax that ban. On Friday, the imports were at the heart of talks between the ruling Democratic Progressive Party, or DPP, and their Japanese counterparts.
他们两位都提到关于福岛5县市食品禁止输入台湾的问题。那我们回答是说，我们会用科学，我们重视这个问题。
Allowing imports from the area affected by the 2011 tsunami and nuclear disaster remains controversial. And in 2018, voters backed the ban in a referendum. But the import bloc may contravene the rules of the Comprehensive and Progressive Agreement for Trans-Pacific Partnership, or CPTPP. Taiwan applied to the massive trade bloc in September. It is an application supposedly supported by the ruling Liberal Democratic Party of Japan, in the face of opposition from China.
今年这个日本的选举当中，寻求执政、继续执政的自民党，在他们的选举公约当中，这个白纸黑字的写出来，欢迎台湾加入 CPTPP， 但是对于中国的加入没有任何的一个表达。
The opposition Kuomintang, or KMT, says the government is putting the safety of its citizens at risk and has attempted to pin the government down amid rumours of the ban relaxing in the next month.
为了我们要加入 CPTPP， 那你会愿意来开放进口来作为交换吗？
日本福岛5县市的食品一直是日本关切的议题，所以未来的咨商一定会讨论这样的一个议题。
Less than a week after the ruling party came out tops in a referendum on the meaty issue of US pork imports, the government appears confident tackling Fukushima vegetables and seafood as a new core issue in Taiwan politics. Alex Chen and Rick Claus for TaiwanPlus.
A new drone developed by Taiwan's top military research unit is currently undergoing flight trials before it moves to combat testing. The second-generation Tengyun, or Cloud Rider, is an unmanned combat aerial vehicle that began testing earlier this year. The Tengyun closely resembles the U.S. Predator drone in shape and build. Its development is another step forward for Taiwan's defense industry, which has been a major focus under the administration of President Tsai Ing-wen. The government is extending an investment program aimed at encouraging Taiwanese firms based overseas to build projects at home. The scheme was first launched amid trade disputes between the U.S. and China in 2019. The plan offers subsidies and loans along with other incentives. These include a simplified process to recruit migrant workers and services tailored to enterprises' needs. Starting from next year, companies that apply for the program must demonstrate a commitment to cutting carbon emissions. The government hopes the extension will attract $32 billion in investment pledges and create around 40,000 jobs in Taiwan. 90% of Taiwan's workers are looking to switch jobs in the new year, according to a survey conducted by a local job site. More than 2,000 workers and employers were polled. The findings come at the end of the year in which Taiwan experienced its worst COVID-19 outbreak to date, with disease control measures impacting the bottom lines of many businesses. It seems there will be no shortage of roles for job seekers. 88% of businesses surveyed indicated they were looking to hire. Analysts said many workers felt they had little choice but to change jobs.
很多没有加薪啊，或者是工作不稳定的求职者，觉得要趁着这一波这个景气复苏的情况下呢，开始来这个找工作啦，因为避免就是说，如果接下来这个原来的公司有一些裁员减薪啊，或甚至没有发年终的情况下，至少还有因应之道。
U.S. President Joe Biden has signed into law a bill to block imports from China's Xinjiang region unless businesses can prove the goods were made without the use of forced labor. It's Washington's latest move against China for alleged human rights abuses in Xinjiang. But on the same day, U.S. chip maker Intel apologized to the Chinese people over instructions to suppliers not to source products or labor from Xinjiang. The company had faced a backlash in China, its leading market. The White House said American companies should never feel the need to say sorry for standing up for human rights. South Korean President Moon Jae-in has granted a pardon to his disgraced predecessor, Park Geun-hye, who was serving a prison sentence of more than 20 years for corruption. Park was the country's first democratically elected leader to be forced from office. She was impeached in 2017 following a wide-reaching corruption scandal that also led to the imprisonment of the heads of Samsung Electronics and another conglomerate. Moon's announcement comes as many supporters and politicians of the conservative opposition have been calling for Park's pardon ahead of the presidential election in March. As we approach Christmas, countries around the world are reporting record-breaking numbers related to COVID-19 infections. Governments are having to weigh up how to contain the spread while allowing people to gather for the holiday season. Our reporter Sandy Chi has more.
You might mistake these massive queues for last-minute Christmas shoppers, but these endless lines in Melbourne and Sydney are of people waiting to get tested for COVID-19. Australia reported a massive spike in cases on Thursday, with the country's most populous state of New South Wales recording over 5,700, an increase of nearly 2,000 cases in a 24-hour period, a new record. It led to a reluctant reimposing of restrictions.
As of midnight tonight, we will be requiring that masks are worn in indoor settings. We are encouraging people, particularly over the holiday period, if you can work from home, please work from home.
The record-breaking numbers seem to be a theme around the globe. France recorded its first ever day with more than 21,000 new infections and a warning from the health minister to expect that number to rise.
Nous constatons en France ce que nous constatons dans tous les pays qui sont touchés par ce variant Omicron extrêmement contagieux, avec un doublement du nombre de cas positifs quasiment tous les 2 jours, ce qui veut dire que j'avais parlé de 100 000 cas positifs par jour entre Noël et Nouvel An.
The government has yet to impose any new restrictions, but has indicated that all options are still on the table. In the United Kingdom, authorities have already ruled out imposing any new restrictions ahead of Christmas on Saturday, despite recording over 100,000 cases for several days in a row. British Prime Minister Boris Johnson used his Christmas message to urge people to get vaccinated.
And though the time for buying presents is theoretically running out, there is still a wonderful thing you can give your family, and the whole country. And that is to get that jab.
For a second year in a row, governments are grappling with trying to contain the spread of COVID while allowing people to enjoy the holidays. And announcements about new restrictions are likely to continue into the new year until the spread of the Omicron variant comes under control. Bill Kong and Sandy Chi for TaiwanPlus.
Coming up, you won't want to miss this dazzling Christmas light show in Kaohsiung. Details in a moment.
Thanks for watching Taiwan Plus. For more great stories from here in Taiwan and around the world, please download the Taiwan Plus app.
台湾最有人情味的地方。
Welcome back. You're watching Taiwan Plus News. Two more Hong Kong universities have removed monuments commemorating the 1989 Tiananmen crackdown from their campuses. The Chinese University of Hong Kong on Friday took down an imitation of the Goddess of Democracy monument destroyed in a crackdown. Lingnan University also removed a wall relief sculpture on Friday. The removals came after the University of Hong Kong tore down the Pillar of Shame, a homage to the victims of Tiananmen, on Wednesday night. It said clearing them away was in the best interest of the university. Hong Kong artist Casey Wong left his home city earlier this year and moved to Taiwan, where he continues to speak out for Hong Kong. He spoke to our reporter Louise Watt about his dismay over seeing the Pillar of Shame removed.
Seeing the image of the sculpture Pillar of Shame being destroyed, it just made me furious. I am an artist. I'm also a sculptor, and when I see a meaningful piece of artwork being destroyed, it just makes me so angry. I think it's important for civic society to defend the arts, especially meaningful artwork such as Peel of Shame, because history is so easily forgotten, and having something physical is important. Almost a month ago, various group of artists have scanned the Peel of Shame in 3D, and that file is right now an open source. People from everywhere can print it out. Its life and spirit lives on all over the world since we can 3D print it.
The Pillar of Shame was at a university. With this removal, what does that say about freedom of expression in Hong Kong, do you think?
I think the freedom of expression are already lost in Hong Kong. Slowly, the society becomes self-censored because the price to pay is quite high. So a lot of artists and cultural workers do not want to risk it. So instead, they're trying to self-censor their opinion. And you can see how Hong Kong slowly, from a free speech society, and then slowly become a city of police state. And then, of course, the arts and culture just stagnate due to that kind of fear. So the Peel of Shame, you can say, is a violent symbol of that kind of crackdown on freedom of speech.
Is fast fashion destroying the planet? That's the claim made by members of the environmentalist group Extinction Rebellion during a performance wearing clothes made out of recycled materials.
Queremos visibilizar lo que es la segunda industria más contaminante del mundo, que es la industria de la moda rápida, entendiendo por moda rápida a ciertas marcas que producen cantidades enormes de ropa con la intención de que esta cambie todo el tiempo, muchísimas colecciones durante el año, y además utiliza grandes cantidades de agua. Todo esto es necesario entender que estamos en un contexto de crisis climática y ecológica grave.
The group protested in front of the store owned by the fashion retailer Zara in Buenos Aires, Argentina. Extinction Rebellion says the industry is responsible for 10% of the world's carbon emissions and is the second largest consumer of water. K-pop star Suga has become the first Asian artist to debut at #1 on the Billboard's digital song sales chart in the United States. Billboard's official Twitter account revealed Suga, who is also part of the boy band BTS, had stormed to the top of the charts with the song Girl of My Dreams. It is also the first time the artist has had a #1 ranking song as a solo artist. The single has sold over 40,000 copies to date, according to Forbes. The spread of COVID-19 usually means slow business, but not for the Santa Clauses in the United States, who are seeing a demand for their festive services. After being forced to cancel many events last year, this Christmas season has seen a return to face-to-face interaction. Many Santas had gone online in 2020, but with the rollout of vaccines and booster shots, children are flocking to give Mr. and Mrs. Claus their wish lists in person. But the Santas are making sure that they're spreading joy and not anything else during the pandemic.
So the Santas could, a couple times a week, check themselves and make sure that they're safe. Myself and other Santas are doing that because we want to continue doing what we love.
Christmas lovers are also flocking back to Lapland in Finland this year, even as Omicron surges across Europe. Pandemic precautions meant it was next to impossible to visit Santa's home last year. But this Christmas, tours just couldn't be stopped. Visitors to Santa's grotto can see his elves hard at work, sorting through letters from around the world, as well as the reindeers preparing to fly off on Christmas night. Venue operators say revelers have returned in numbers approaching pre-pandemic levels, but Santa says that he still must keep some distance from his guests because of the new COVID-19 variant.
So lots of people are coming here, but people are having face masks at the moment. They are keeping distance, and we have this plexiglass here because we want to be safe here. But otherwise, it's quite the same. It's quite the same. Lots of happy people coming to visit me.
It's amazing to be here, like literally. My hands are officially frozen. I can't feel anything, but I'm talking to you and enjoying. This is how it is going so far. It is amazing. I can't move my mouth so far.
And now a story that's bound to bring you a dose of holiday cheer. It's the Christmas pandemic mashup that you didn't know you needed. Sandy Chi brings us to a church in Taipei where their nativity scene looks very well 2021.
A giant syringe is the first thing you can see when you walk up to Holy Family Church. It's a COVID vaccine right next to the front door. The biggest Catholic church in of all Taiwan is making a bold statement.
What's even more interesting is when you look inside, you'll see a nativity scene you've never seen before. Baby Jesus with the mask and vaccine, Mary and Joseph both wearing masks. So, what were they thinking when they designed this? I spoke to the artist to find out more.
今年5月我们都进入到疫情进入到3级嘛，那个时候其实我们全台湾的人都疯狂的在寻找疫苗。那其实疫苗可以帮助我们远离重症、远离死亡。那我就在想说，那我们的心灵呢？所以我就想到今年圣诞节想要做这个疫苗马槽，告诉大家耶稣基督是我们心灵的疫苗。我们也可以把耶稣基督注射到我们的心里面。
But a nativity scene shaped like a syringe? Would it be too out there for parish priest Father John Rao? As it turns out, not at all.
因为我们每年都做马槽，所以那个时候就2、3个那个样子。后来突然他拿出一个针筒来，我一看，就是他。
But designer Joseph says it wasn't easy creating a 6-meter tall syringe.
后来我们就请了吊车，对，那在请吊车的过程当中，本来那一天我们看天气预报是下雨的，对，可是我们就是我跟圣母祈祷，希望能够帮助我们，给我们一个非常好的一个天气。后来是整个是大晴天的，就还蛮开心，就是整个过程是蛮顺利的。
And Father Rao sees no conflict between faith and science when it comes to the health of the body.
既然上天给了我们这样的智慧，让我们能够研究出疫苗来，让我们身体有抵抗力，为什么不可以用？所以我们觉得我们不反对，而且我们还鼓励教育我们去打疫苗。
That point of view is supported by one of the church's most prominent parishioners, former Vice President Chen. He guided Taiwan through the SARS pandemic as the nation's health minister back in 2003. Father Rao says that Chen was very happy when he saw the syringe nativity.
郑副总统常常来我们这里参加弥撒周日天他一定会来，他非常虔诚那他自己也是在这一方面的一个专家嘛，可以这么讲所以他一看的时候，他也觉得很惊讶你们怎么会有这样的 idea 这样的一个构想？我们说对啊，我说是他给的。
With the Omicron variant dashing a lot of Christmas plans around the world this season, here in Taiwan, a widespread belief in vaccines is making it possible to celebrate with families again. Chris Ma and Sandy Chi for TaiwanPlus.
Now, holiday season is upon us, and Taiwan is ready to celebrate. The country's largest Christmas lantern was inaugurated in Kaohsiung on Thursday, and the lights came on just as the presidential office revealed its 2022 New Year greeting cards. James Chater finds out more.
Gingerbread, candy canes and Santas cascade down the facade of Kaohsiung Music Center. This week, Kaohsiung inaugurated Taiwan's largest Christmas lantern. Every night until January the 2nd, the building will feature light and music shows every half an hour.
很漂亮哦！我今天也是忽然间发现这边有主灯。整个高雄港就像香港的维多利亚港一样。
The Christmas light show is a prologue to next February's Taiwan Lantern Festival, also due to take place in the city.
这个对城市的发展，它就不是只是灯会一次性的节庆性的活动，
它将会是长久的影响。
Christmas is not a national holiday in Taiwan, but the festivities do serve as a prelude to the biggest celebration of the year, the Lunar New Year. Preparations for the February event kicked off with Taiwan's presidential office unveiling its Lunar New Year greetings card. Next year is the year of the tiger, and the animal's influence is clearly visible in the gold and black card, signed by President Tsai Ing-wen and Vice President William Lai.
设计呢，其实也有期许自己可以像老虎一般的勇猛，然后在电子贺卡，大家也有看到，也希望自己又有猫科动物的柔软，可以面对瞬息万变的环境，保持变化的弹性，也就是我们国家的性格，我们国家的风格。
60,000 copies of the tiger-themed card have been printed and will be sent out to overseas presidents, diplomats and other international officials over the holiday period. But for those in Taiwan, Kaohsiung's light and firework display offers a perfect opportunity to get in the Christmas spirit. Patrick Chen and James Chater for TaiwanPlus.
Thanks for watching Taiwan Plus News. I'm Betty Chen. We'll leave you with images of the festive celebrations as animals at Cali Zoo in Colombia unwrap their Christmas treats. For more stories from Taiwan and around the world, please download the Taiwan Plus app. Stay safe and see you next time.